Good evening. I hope this is all working. As you can see, you are looking at a brand new look on the Balls Out podcast and another edition of Red Devils Roundup. We are having a play around with the tools that we have been given by our streaming service. And yeah, we're talking United as usual. Back again with Mark. Evening, mate. You good?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Had a good weekend. Good week started already. So
Good. Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a regular thing, our weekly chats on United. So maybe
yeah,
this is just the case that this is the way it's going to go forward. But no, as you're all aware, we're all looking out for new contributors and always looking for new faces to jump on the channel. So if you do want to get involved, head over to our Twitter account, which probably would have been. Don't know how that's going to work. No, it doesn't look good at all, does it? Sorry, let's remove that. Have a look at that. If you want to join the channel, just head over to our Twitter account and slide into our DMs, and we will get in touch and get you involved. But yeah, we're on the back of back-to-back wins. A brilliant result in the week against Real Sociedad. I predicted a 1-0 and a Bruno Fernandes penalty, and Mark predicted a 3-1. And yeah, what was it, 4-1 in the end?
4-1 Bruno hat trick, and he
Bruno
got
hat
two
trick,
penalties.
and two penalties. So we probably weren't far off. But yeah, let's talk about the Real Sociedad game in particular first. So it was a mad game. Let's put that out there straight away. It was a mad game. So there was a penalty in the first 5 minutes. We then got a penalty in the first 15 minutes. But yeah, what was your overall take on the match, first of all?
It was pretty much how I envisioned it going.
Especially
Literally,
against the Spanish sides.
well, it's actually I didn't realise it's the only Spanish side up until that game we hadn't scored against in Europa League.
Right.
So played them twice and never scored at them at home. Um, I did think, as you know, I said 3-1. I thought, and I said we needed that atmosphere, and we got everything we needed to make that happen. The fans were more than on song, like for the whole thing. It was an atmosphere. I weren't expecting flares. I can't remember the last time I saw flares going on the pitch at Old Trafford from our own fans. But yeah, it was a great game. We went at them. The penalty was a stonewall penalty, wasn't it? And to be honest, I thought it was going to be one of those nights where it was like, oh, he's so slow to react. That's it, game over.
Yeah,
But it wasn't.
absolutely.
The heads didn't go down. The heads got lifted up and They went straight back up the other end. Um, all in all, yeah, no, it was a great night of football. I saw some nice patterns of play. Obviously, we were talking, but Dorgu, Heaven, and Xerxes. Oh my God, they were on fire.
Mm.
You know, but I will always say I don't rate the level of the Spanish clubs overall in their own league. And so sometimes we see Dorgu playing well, Xerxes playing well. Was it just the fact that it's who they were up against? But they continued it into this weekend, doing bits exactly the same. Not Dorgu, obviously. I think that's his suspension done now, isn't it? He's back
I
off.
believe so, yeah. Yeah.
But Aiden Heaven was brilliant. It's obviously a shame that he went down. And Xerxes, talk about what happens when you get booed off the pitch and everything.
A complete U-turn from a player of like there was a lot of us giving him stick, and we all admit it. We've all done it. We've all given him stick. He wasn't the player we were anticipating. That player has completely changed the way he plays football with United since that game where he was booed off in the first half.
You
He
make a
has
choice.
been, yeah, absolutely, and he's risen above it and gone right. I'm going to show you. He might not be banging the goals in, and he might not be provided, but his work rate and his style of play is incredible for us at the moment.
I think he's going to frustrate people soon, though. If he tries and gets one more bloody nutmeg when he really should make a pass, do you know what I mean? It's a bit like watching back in the day, watching Ronaldo and going,
But
maybe
isn't
no
that
favours this time.
no? Absolutely no. I completely agree. But we've spoken. Me and you have spoken a lot about it this season. I've pretty much checked out of where we're going to finish in the league. Couldn't care less
Yeah.
about that. I'm really interested in Europe because I do think after that performance, which I have to say is the most complete team performance I've seen from United in a long, long time.
Agreed.
But with Xerxes, if he's going to make little decisions like that and try and do these little tricks and flicks, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. It was different with Anthony because Anthony was doing it and it made him look stupid. Xerxes doing it, and you think, no, fair play for trying.
Oh, I don't know. What was it? 2, 3 minutes into the game, he tried that nutmeg about 25 yards out. Amorim went absolutely ape shit at him because he tried to meg someone and they got a shot off and missed the target. But
What game was that? Was that in the week?
that was
Or?
in the European match.
Oh, okay, I must have missed that.
And
But
it's about doing it, but doing it in the right places of the pitch.
yeah, so
Bruno's been pulled up for it before as well. You know,
yeah,
he's trying a little flick down in the corner flag, and I believe there was, I can't remember, last season he lost us a game. We conceded from it. He gave the ball away, trying to do a little flick or a little turn. So that's football.
no, it is. And the thing is this season, I've said it before, I'm checked out of what we are doing in the league. I couldn't care less. It's just a case of I would rather we played a slightly weaker teams in the Premier League at the moment, just to focus all out on our European campaign. Because if we want Champions League, not all of us do. I've already voiced my opinion on it. I couldn't take it or leave it. But if you're under the impression that we're going to bring in better players with Champions League football, I get it, completely understand that. But you know, with the players that we're playing at the minute, so we'll come on to Rasmus in a moment. But Bruno Fernandes was brilliant against Sociedad, brilliant again against Leicester. Leicester, on the whole, as a game, wasn't particularly exciting to watch. It was still a dull. It reminded me a lot of the FA Cup game against Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Dull.
Yeah.
It was a professional performance. Don't get me wrong. We still scored 3 and won the game, but it wasn't like exciting. And to be honest, a lot of the games on the Sunday weren't exciting. It was only the Carabao Cup final which actually provided any sort of excitement, and that's only because Newcastle beat Liverpool.
Yeah, Tsunami.
Yeah, we'll tsunami that for sure. But no, yeah, I mean, brilliant against Sociedad. The whole, like, I texted my dad straight after and said that is the best team performance we've seen for a long time. You couldn't really. There wasn't many players I would have said, "Oh, they had a rough game." All of them were pretty good, if not excellent. Casemiro again, absolutely stepped up to the plate. Was brilliant.
He done what we were talking about in the previous show. He sat in front of that back three and he just swept. He didn't really push forward until we actually progressed up the pitch and were established up the pitch. And then he sort of does his ninja skills where he ends up trying to get in the box on the end of a cross. And normally he gets his head on it. But yeah, Casemiro, superb. Like you say, each one to a man, I thought was great. But yeah, Dorgu down that left, give him a few more games. Come the end of the season, I think we're going to really see him like going, really going at people. The passing was there. That was more important for me. There wasn't it was a faster pace to the passing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't pass, control, look, which option do I take? It was pass, slide the overlap in. Let's try and create a cross or a pullback. So it is obviously starting to click.
Yeah,
and we can only hope now with the international break, they work on that even more because there's going to be plenty of players there to work on it with.
Well, yeah, we're going to come on to that because there is a lot of United players not travelling on international duty, especially with England. But yeah, so on the whole, I mean, 2 results, really, really good performances on both sides. Couple of moments in the Leicester game where you thought, oh, there was a couple of like scary moments where you thought Leicester might have nicked it, got a goal here and there, but you've got to feel for Ruud van Nistelrooy. He has been dealt a very, very tough hand to be trying to keep them in the Premier League this year.
Well, I'd love to know if he's got to be the first ever manager to beat the team he manages it twice and lose to the team he managed twice in one season.
Yeah.
Because who saw that coming? Like to won 2 games against Leicester and lost 2 games against United as Leicester manager. It's definitely got to be a first.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that actually. But yeah, it's got to be a first. But he's been given the opportunity in the Premier League at the wrong club, and to especially not be given any backing really to put his own. He's all about attacking football, and defensively they're just not very good.
You could see him how frustrated he was getting with stuff they were doing. You really could. It was literally, what the fuck, I think, came out of his mouth at one point on the camera. Like, that's not you. Like, you're not meant to be doing that. But then on another night, Onana doesn't save that shot from Vardy.
No.
There was a quick reaction he gets his hand to, and De Ligt doesn't smother that chance that was pulled back. I can't think what his name was, but you know the one where where he threw himself at the shot,
Yeah.
or it hits him and deflects over the keeper. That's been our season. That's what I half expected, and I think Heaven threw himself at two in the first half block. So
Oh yeah.
Leicester had some chances. You may not saw an outcome or a decent save, but that's more luck than judgment. Because if you got to throw yourself at the ball, you're in the wrong position. So
Yeah, just reading that going along the bottom of the screen at the moment. Sky Sports journalist reveals 6 players. That one, including one that would infuriate fans. Let's have a look.
it's Mainu.
Is it Manu? Is it?
It's
So
Mainu.
if you're watching this, this is completely new to us. We're trying something out new at the bottom here. So I've managed to find an RSS feed of Manchester United news. So there you go, including fan favourite Kobe Manu. With Ineos taking charge of the club directors won't have seemingly end. Fair enough.
Well, let's cover that quickly as it was there.
Yeah.
Kobe Mainu, he wants 180,000 a week, right?
Yeah.
He has 3 years left on his contract. He has no right to negotiate a new contract. He's
Agreed.
been injured for half the season. He's dropped
Agreed.
from the England squad. He has zero bargaining chips. He's on more than Toby Collier, who is filling in for him. Toby Collier is on 5,000 a week. Kobe Mainu is on 50.
Mm-hmm.
Please forget being a United fan. If United can sell him for 70 million, then he's going to get that wage that he wants, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, prove to me you deserve that money at Manchester United. Because at the moment, you're not proving jack shit because you're not playing. Come in, get fit, get back on the pitch, finish the season and go, let's talk about this in the summer. Let's talk about this when I've got a year left on my deal. But right now, you've got 3 years left on your deal. Tell your agent to jog on because he's the only one going to really take money out of that and get your head back in the game.
He's also got 3 years left in his contract, and we've got the option to trigger an extension.
Exactly.
So what's stopping us? And as much as I would love that to happen, if United just went, well, you want 180 grand or whatever you want, tell you what, we're going to trigger your extension now. So you've now got 4 years on 50k.
Yeah. The only thing with that is I don't want us triggering anyone's extension right now because I believe every single one of them's got a 50% take on the money that comes in if we trigger it.
I agree.
So, but yeah.
But the type of players that we want to get rid of, i.e., and this is no disrespect because we were just singing his praises a minute ago, but people like Casemiro, who are on ridiculous amounts of money, people like Rashford, who are on ridiculous amounts of money because there's a chance he's going to come back to us. Villa might not be able to afford his wages after having to spend out.
Because he's been called up to England.
Well, yeah, that would help.
No, we have. Apparently, there was news broke for one of his clauses. If he gets back in, the price to the England setup, his price goes up.
Premier League Player of the Week. That's Bruno, is it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Oh, Premier League Player of the Week with the EFL play. Sorry, we're getting distracted by our own feed at the bottom. But yeah, it's difficult where I don't think, like you say, I don't think Ineos are in a position to be triggering anyone's extensions at the minute.
No.
Because financially it won't work. But there are players out there that ideally we need to be selling or trying to get some money back for before we start triggering extensions, i.e. people like Rashford, people like Casemiro. Ericsson, I think, is he out of contract at the end of the season, or is it next season he's out of contract?
No, he's walking. That's been across the ticker.
Yeah.
He's pretty much confirmed tonight that he's had no contact from the club. He knows his contract's up in the summer. So he will be exploring other options, but he's fully committed to the club. He didn't look fully committed on the pitch the other night, but
he looked tired, and that's a shame because he hasn't played much.
Yeah.
And you would have anticipated. I know he's got underlying health issues.
That's what worried me more with.
Yeah.
He looked drained, and I was like, get him off the pitch because you don't want the same. But he's got a weakness, And anyone who's ever had any of the heart problems in their family knows once it happened once, it's a weakness. It will happen again.
Yeah, but as a quick fix that Ericsson was, he has been again another brilliant service to the club. He's put his heart on the sleeve, i.e., literally.
Well, Tottenham
Like,
should never have let him go, should they? There's no way they should ever have let him go.
no, and the fact that we picked him up on a free from Brentford, was it? He was
Yeah.
playing at Brentford on a free. We got him on a free, and he's been brilliant. We can't deny that. But yeah, it's there's a few players that really we still need to look at moving on. But yeah, it's just the idea of having any money in the summer at all is only going to rely on the players that we managed to get rid of.
So someone always used to say to me, the most common thing when you need money is you can only get money for the players you want to keep. Everyone knows who
Yeah,
you want to get rid of, so they're not willing to
Scott
offer you.
McTominay
Yeah,
is probably the ideal one to throw out there.
yeah. I'd take 30, 40 million for Rashford because we know it's profit.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that means that if he wasn't a United graduate, that would be the equivalent of 70 to 80 million because there was no transfer fee to have paid. So, you know, and there are cheap players out there. Maybe we need to explore that. You know, we picked Heaven up for $1 million from Arsenal. We've
been
got
brilliant.
Obi will come through in the next 2 years. There are other players out there. You know, Brighton make a killing of paying 4 million and getting 200 million in the next sale.
Yeah,
I know we always get a United tax, but if anything, we're in the best position now not to be United tax because we're shit. Do you know what I mean? We're not at the top of the league. So these players who clearly just want to go for the money, they're not going to come to us for money. They're just going to come to us because they want to play for Manchester United. That's how my brain works. But you know, football's a funny old game, and who knows? It's all about the pitch, isn't it? Now it's all about how we pitch the dream of Ruben Amorim's formation, and
yeah,
I've seen so many links and transfers since Sunday already. There's only one I really care about, and that's Frimpong, but that's 40 million to get
yeah,
him in his buyout clause. I think it's actually 37 and a half, if I remember correctly from last year. And I wanted him. I wanted him for Ten Hag. I want him now. I think he's the best wing back there is been since Roberto Carlos. And I know Roberto Carlos technically wasn't a wing back because no one played him, but he certainly could have done a job there as a wing back, wouldn't he? It'd be phenomenal.
yeah. Well, there was a few arguments in our group chat, wasn't there, on that? We mentioned how brilliant Heaven was doing, and if we had a similar player, was it Mazraoui? Can't
Yeah.
remember who we were talking about, but the argument came up about Diogo Dallo actually playing quite well, and I mentioned he's had his moments this season where he has been really poor, but in the last sort of probably 4 games, you would probably argue, maybe 3 games, really stepping up, really playing better.
He's doing what he's been told. So it seems the Portuguese players are the best players to coach. They seem to do as they're told.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
probably the best way to put it because I think Bruno's changed his game, and Diego Dalot is a prime example of that. He always seems to be fit, and he always seems to be chosen to bail us out. So when we've got no left back, it's him over there. If we need someone to just be chuck on and do a job in whatever position you wanted, he seems to do it. I don't rate him at all. I would have kept Wan-Bissaka over him all day long.
Yeah,
I
we've had
prefer a
this.
defender
Yeah,
that can defend. And I don't think. So I always said Wan-Bissaka was the defensive right back and he was the attacking right back. Apart from he can't attack, he can't shoot, he can't cross, he has no vision, but he has a vision for the run, getting in behind, spotting the runs, and that's how he's got a few good goals. He's got a great shot from outside the box when he gets in the right place, but he needs to be on the left to curl it with his right. And I think he's got about 2 or 3 of them for us. But yeah, no, I would replace him. Not because I want to, but I do see him as a weak link. I see Mazraoui as a better right wing back than him, and it's noticeable because it's with Mazraoui. You would think he would drop Dalot into that back line, but Mazraoui seems to be able to again be more flexible. He played left-sided centre back right-sided centre-back, left wing-back and right wing-back for us for this season alone. And the famous number 10 under Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
When he put him in there.
It's let's talk about let's move on from the games itself and let's talk about Rasmus. In the week against Sociedad, you could tell we were, or United on the pitch, were urging him to get a goal. There were so many opportunities, and that was just pure bad luck on that
Yep.
night. He was in the right positions, and it just never fell sweetly for him, and that was a real shame, especially on a night where we were playing so well. A Hoyland goal probably would have made it the perfect night at Old Trafford. Fast forward Sunday, 7 o'clock under the lights against Leicester, and he took that goal as if he's on a 20 goal scoring run. It was the perfectly taken opportunity and a perfectly taken goal, in my opinion.
I 100% agree with you. You might want to clip this up for my take on that because Rasmus scored a great goal. Right foot, weak foot, bottom corner. Ball's not a great ball to him. Yeah, it was a ball in behind. I thought it could have been put more in front of him to run onto. Hence the reason he almost stumbled over it, getting it under control. He done everything he wanted. But can you just explain to me how the hell Bruno gets an assist for that? Because not only did the defender miss it, he then has to take 3 or 4 touches to get it into the box, then gets the shot off, and the defender's still with him. Like when I was a kid, an assist was a 1 or 2 touch finish. Someone passes the ball, you put it away. You don't put a ball into space, someone run onto it and make something out of it and then get given an assist. Like, what is with stats these days? That is
I'll
not.
tell you what's ruined that, Mark, is betting companies and fantasy football.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what you've got to blame for that. So anyone that gets the last touch,
captain.
yeah, exactly.
But it's not. That's not an assist, is it? An
Well,
assist
no,
is a cross, a header, a cross on a volley, a pull back, one touch finish, pull back, take a touch, open it out, bend it into the corner. That's That's an assist. But passing it, if the player's got to dribble past someone or beat a man, you
he's made
haven't
his own goal.
assisted him to beat that man. His skill has assisted him to beat that man. So in my eyes, actually, yet another goal Rasmus has scored off his own hard work. You know, it's still no one creating a chance for him. Where
But
the chance was for Garnacho's goal, that was a created chance and a well taken. And we should probably talk about Garnacho, who had gone more games for Rasmus without scoring and had probably 100 more shots than him.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll come on to Garnacho, but like we say, so Rasmus itself, I believe, I agree with what you're saying about the Bruno Fernandes assist, but that is purely down to triple captains and fantasy football and Sky Bet and betting companies have just taken that away. But when it's a goal that you've pretty much created yourself, I mean, credit for Bruno Fernandes to getting the ball in the space that he needed to do so, absolutely. But at the end of the day, that was a case of Rasmus has made his own goal, and it was beautifully, beautifully taken. So
the way it didn't hit the deck, did it? But it's like a half inch off the floor, right into that side netting. It was the cleanest of strikes into that bottom corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move on to, like you say, Garnacho. So he, again, another goal drought killed off, done for. You know, he's now scored in whatever, how many shots he's had to put in. He's been quite quiet this season.
Yeah. Yeah. There's obviously been a lot going on. We know the rumours about his brothers was to do with the leaks.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was the Rashford stuff and
allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. We'll phrase it another way. All the alleged stuff that had been going on behind the scenes at Manchester United, aimed towards Garnacho, that he was getting players' backs up and everything like that. He just wants to be Ronaldo. Well, I'll tell you what, I could walk around my hometown and find 50% of the kids that want to be Ronaldo and 50 that want to be Messi. You know, what's the big deal about that? But he generally does seem to be taking it on board. His cops are stropped. He's petulant. Yeah, he's a passionate South American. Well, I won't say South American because he's Spanish at the end of the day. He has Argentinian parents, but he could have played for Spain. That's where we've
Yeah,
got him from Atletico. So, um, and I love it. I love that in him. I don't have an issue with it. Pisses me off when it happens, but I forget
yeah,
about it because I think, yeah, do you know what? I'll probably be the same. And he sees this from other players, and it's all about learning from what's around you. And he keeps going. But there is a point, isn't there, where insanity needs to kick in if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And he seems now to be learning and mixing that game up. I would say playing him on the right was a great tactical move, putting him on the right hand side.
yeah. I agree.
Stops him from cutting in. We spoke about this about Rashford when Ten Hag was putting him out there, wasn't it? He's putting him on the right and playing Garnacho on the left. And it stops that cut in which everyone's expecting. I know he sort of came in and hit one on his left, which was offside, but yeah, he shoots too much. That's the only thing. But you got to be you got to have the chance, haven't you? You got to be in the right position to get that shot off.
Mm.
So you can't really have a go at him for it. I just wish he would take it on maybe one or two touches and then fake the shot and lay it square.
No, I agree. Like we say, he's been quiet this season, but he has been trying. But like you say, decisions in the final third have really let him down this year, and that's no excuse from anyone but himself. But yeah, just it was still good to see him on the score sheet. And then, yeah, just it's just nice to talk about two back-to-back wins for United at the moment, and considering
Three
the
games without
way
loss. Put the draw in
three
there.
was it drawing two wins.
Draw and two wins. Draw against Arsenal and then back-to-back
That's
wins.
it. Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what we said about taking confidence. Don't lose to Arsenal. Took that confidence in on the Thursday, battered them,
mm,
and we only scored one goal after the sending off as well. So it's not like, oh, you scored four because I had a player sent off. No. And then I felt we played very similar against Leicester, as in the way we went forward, the movement. So, we can only hope right times are coming.
yeah. Right, I'm going to try something. So bear with me because we are going to move on to the fact that there are no United players in the England squad. So just bear with me. I'm trying something. I'm messing around here in the background. Mark, can you fill for a moment? Why don't you talk about your initial reaction on the England squad for me?
Oh, let's talk about Jordan Henderson. What the fuck? Um, England squad. I knew it was always going to be different. Like, come on, this guy Thomas Tuchel, he's a bit out there. He was when he went to Chelsea. He's very loyal, so I sort of half expected to see like Reece James and Conor Gallagher, all these Chelsea players come flooding back in that he knew.
Yeah,
I'm glad he held off from doing that. But then his speech, oh, well, Rashford was this, Henderson done that. And I was just like, okay, but I thought we were moving forwards. It's good to see there was a few youngsters being called up into the squad. But yeah, Jordan Henderson, like he's struggled at Ajax. And do you really just bring in a player to go? I wanted some experience in the captaincy sort of area. Like
yeah, I'm with
I'm
you.
pretty sure we've got that. We've got what? Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. Who else have we got in there? Um, I know he obviously got no Maguire because he's out injured. Um,
There you go.
Declan Rice is another one. You got Declan Rice. These are all captains of the clubs.
Can you
Yeah,
see that on the screen there? Is that come through all right?
yeah. See that all up there nicely. Well, I say nicely. I'm not a massive fan of the England squad. I'm not a massive fan of international football. I think a
No.
lot of real fans, football fans, of sort of that's those days are gone. But hopefully, this could bring it back if he does start actually just going and picking the round pegs for round holes instead of the England way of square pegs for round holes.
No,
Uh,
I'm with you.
yeah, I look at that squad. Dan Burn, happy to see him in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, credit to him over the weekend. What an unbelievable header that was
Uh,
against Liverpool in the cup final. But yeah,
Same with Livramento. I was surprised at Carl Walker. He's had a fucking shocking season. But again, he's got to be in there with what he's going to have as the captaincy group, right? Carl Walker,
yeah,
Jordan Henderson, Harry Kane,
Pickford.
Jordan Pickford. Yeah, and that's what I'm guessing is going to be his spine. If he
Jared
don't,
Bowen's an interesting one after he's not been long had an injury, playing pretty well at the minute,
mm-hmm.
but it's like the games itself for England. So you've got Albania on the Friday, and then is it where are we? When do we play after that?
Is it Tuesday? Is it
Bear with
Tuesday after
me.
that? It's over 2 weeks, isn't it? But it's 2 games in 2 weeks. But they've got to have enough recovery time to get back to there. I'm sure it was the Tuesday.
Oh, Monday against
Monday.
Latvia.
So Friday, Monday.
Yeah,
So two shit sides.
yeah. There's a
England,
quote. If those games were being played in my back garden, I'd probably close the curtains. It's that
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
They're
This
not
is
exciting
another.
matches.
So why do I hate international football? Is probably the easiest question to answer for me. We go into it, we get put in a group that we win 8 out of 8, and then we go to a tournament never having to have played anyone decent because European football is just absolute, mountains between each levels. It's not like we're here, they're here. It's literally off the scale, isn't it? It's off the
Yeah,
scale. Um, so, but those two teams are going to want to kick lumps out of us. That's my fear.
yeah. So
So,
let's talk. Let's talk initially. So because obviously we're both England fans. I mean, we're
yeah,
probably we're quite
if you go to
limited
a tournament, I'm
actually.
supporting them.
Yeah, we're actually unfortunate on this channel. Well, I say unfortunate. We've got a lot of Irish contingent on the Balls Out podcast contributors. So me and you are in a very slim pickings of actual people that might have a vague interest in what England are going to do. But you've got a great point there. We'll very quickly touch on that. We've got a great point there of we play no ones or nobodies all the way up until sometimes semi-finals, finals, and that's when we run into problems. You could
Yeah.
see that in the last tournament and the tournament before that we had real easy runs all the way to finals and semi-finals, and then we end up playing nobodies, and that is where the seeding system really has issues in international football.
But also the British media and the British players, well, the English players in this respect, but still British media.
Yeah,
Our mentality is so piss poor. You know, we've got a media that wants us to fail so they can sell papers. Where we've got an FA. Like, I don't know why they're called the Football Association because they do nothing to help football in this country. When you look at the German FA, they'll call games, their league games off or move them because there's a big international match coming on or something like
yeah,
that, or teams in Europe. Ours is like, no, no, let's get more games on. Let's no fixture congestion. Can't call that off. We do nothing to help our players. Like from a mental side of things, always trying to find. We have an England squad out now. I'm surprised they're not looking to see who's cheating on their wife. Just to destroy that person in the England squad. Because, like you said, no United players. So now everyone is there. All eyes are going to be on Rashford, aren't they?
yeah,
All eyes are going to be on Rashford because at the end of the day, there is one United player. He's there. There's obviously some ex-United players in there as well. But I don't know what to say. I look at that squad. Who are we missing out there? Harry Maguire.
yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw.
Well, you can say Luke Shaw, but I've forgotten what he looks like. Kobe Mainoo.
Manu, yeah,
And then the other option is Rashford. So we only
yeah.
have 4 England players anyway. One of them's permanently on the bench. One of them's permanently mentally on a holiday, unless he's at another club.
Mm-hmm.
And Maguire's at that point now where he's about to be dropped from the England team anyway because of his age.
Yeah, there's a good chance, even if he was fit, he probably wouldn't have played in this squad anyway. And that's no disrespect for Harry Maguire because he's turned his career around since
He's been
almost being
superb
sold.
for us. I'm not a massive
He's
fan of
been
him.
brilliant for us, and we can't argue that.
Yeah, he's been great. But I see Konza, Kwesi, McGahey, Dan Burn. It's quite. He's. I'm looking at it going. He's clearly playing three at the back. There's no out and out
Oh
centre
yeah,
back. Like
yeah, definitely.
overall, they're sort of left sided centre backs, right sided centre backs. Not. You know what I mean? They go wide in for their clubs. Jude Bellingham. You know, Declan Rice and one other for midfielder, and then
Yeah.
there'll be three up front. And
We
it'll
should
probably
quickly mention actually that obviously since this list's come out, Cole Palmer's actually injured, so they've called up
yeah,
Morgan Gibbs White on that basis, which is probably about right because Morgan Gibbs White has been superb. But
yeah.
I'm not overly disappointed by the squad. I'm not overly excited by it. It's not really the defenders are probably more the ones that surprise me and Jordan Henderson. Apart from that, I could pretty much understand all of them. I'm
Uh,
just more interested to go on.
Morgan Rogers 100% deserves his call up.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think he should have been called up months ago. Like you say, Bowen, he's done all right for England. Um, but Foden, really?
Yeah,
On this season alone? Um, being dropped from the England squad might have sorted his head out. And we can afford to drop him, or we could have afforded to drop him when he picked the squad because you had Cole Palmer. Same position. Neither are at the same heights they were 12 months ago, but you know,
Jonathan's
Solanke,
funny.
Rashford, Foden, Bowen, Gordon, they're all wide players. There's only one out and out nine,
Yeah,
Harry Kane. You could say Solanke, but I prefer him coming in wider like he did at Bournemouth in like a two. So, yeah, it doesn't excite you, does it, really, looking at that?
no, I'm more excited to see how it's going to play out under Tuchel. And I'm not one of these people that the English. Obviously, I would have preferred an English manager to be the England national coach. I get
Yeah.
that, but at the time, it was a case of we needed the best in class to give us any chance of doing well. I'm not going to say win the World Cup because it's very unlikely. With if you look at that squad of players, I don't see an England winning World Cup squad out of that. And that's no disrespect to anyone because obviously you're all doing better than what I would have done on a football pitch.
Well,
So I'm not going to.
who's missing from that squad? Who would you bring in that's not there right now?
I
So,
don't think it's a case of bringing anybody in. I don't think that's the problem. I just think we
what I
haven't got.
mean, like, that is the England squad. That's our best England squad. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you could fit Mainu in there, but who are you taking out? Maybe Morgan Rogers or Eze
Well,
for
the
Mainu.
obvious one would be Jordan Henderson. You'd take out for Manu.
Yeah, but he's obviously put him in there for a reason that he wants him there. Yeah. But when you said at the back, Harry Maguire, he's the big name that's missing,
He won't
and
be there in 2026.
he won't be there in 2026. The four keepers, I 100% agree with. Dean Henderson would be the one most likely to be dropped if you're doing a squad for a tournament.
No Nick Pope.
Uh, yeah,
Played
he's
well
always
on
been a weird
Sunday.
one. I rate Nick Pope. I
I
think he's quite
say,
agile with someone so big.
yeah, I say he played well on Sunday. He didn't actually have to do anything on Sunday. So
But he commands his box. But
yeah,
but playing out from the back, he is atrocious. But that's just modern day. I put a goalkeeper in goal to do what's in the job title.
mm,
Keep keep the ball out the net.
yeah.
Don't worry about kicking it. Just get rid of it. Um, and then up front, who's missing from there? No one. Mate,
Grealish.
maybe one other out and out nine, which doesn't
Mm.
exist. Do you see what I mean? Like you can't think of one, can you, off the top of your head? Who's even in form?
Ivan Tony, but I don't. Again, I don't know how he's playing out in
Well,
Saudi.
Watkins
If
is the
playing.
one missing, isn't it?
Watkins, yeah, that's a good shout.
Watkins is missing, and you would probably take Rashford out for Watkins.
And the fact that he's taken Foden instead of Watkins is an
Yeah,
interesting
that's
one
what I'm
because
saying.
Foden, ever since his Player of the Year win, has been pretty piss poor.
Well, with the rest of the Man City squad.
Yeah, which again fills us with absolute joy and delight. But yeah, I mean, I personally would take Pope instead of Trafford, and again, that's no disrespect for Trafford because he's been brilliant. they've been.
He'll be a top 10 team next year, Trafford.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would imagine so. Dan Burn 100% deserves to be there because he's been brilliant. Cole Will again. Branthwaite is probably someone that you would probably take instead. But then if you start playing that game, you're removing people like Kyle Walker to then put people like Branthwaite in, and then you end up with a team full of youngsters.
Oh, of course. There's someone else. Trent's not there.
No, no Trent.
So Trent would need to come in. And you, like you say, Trent and Walker, it's got to be a straight swap. He's listed Reece James, hasn't he? But that's what I was sort of saying. That was his captain. He chose him as captain at Chelsea. So whatever he's going to implement, he's obviously expecting him to bring into explain to the defence.
He won't play in 2026.
Yeah. Well,
I
will
don't
he
think
be
he's good.
fit? He
Yeah,
can't
will he
compete.
be fit? Unlikely. Mars Lewis Skelly, brilliant player, but he's got an attitude problem. He thinks he's a big time player when
Yeah, he needs an injury.
he needs an injury. He needs to be brought back down to earth a little bit because he is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant footballer and he's been really, really good for Arsenal this year, without a question. But he needs to be brought down a peg or two. He needs to
If you
be,
think what you said about him, Saka.
yeah.
So that's Bowen out
That's
for
Bowen
Saka.
out.
So there
So
are a few
you're
players who
basically
can
you're
come in.
losing Phil Foden and Jared Bowen basically in exchange for
Watkins and Saka,
Saka and Watkins. Yeah,
in my opinion. I would still have liked somehow to have kept Ivan Toney in this setup. He just brings something different, but he made that choice to go where he went, and now he can't play.
but on the whole, I'm not mad at it, but I'm not excited by it. I think that's pretty much the only way I can really describe it.
Will you watch the England match?
Probably not.
Yeah, same.
But that's
Same.
not through choice. That's because I'm off Monday, but I'm working Friday, and I don't finish till 9. So, but I will probably have it on in the truck at work. So I'll probably listen to it. But
But you're not clearing your schedule. England are
yeah,
playing tonight to go watch it.
yeah.
It's
So on Monday I'm off work.
Germany going at it. It's England for
Yeah,
the Euro.
Monday I'm off, and I won't make a big fuss about having to watch it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. 100%. I'm the same. I might have it on my phone while I'm like watching something with my other half.
Yeah,
Just to keep an eye on the score. That's about it. There isn't
yeah.
much you can say about England, and just putting United players in there really doesn't improve it. For me,
No,
it's still it's a shit level of football. It's slower. The standard of teams are crap. I just look forward to the tournaments when you've got the best teams.
no. I agree. Evening, Jonathan. By the way, thank you for your comment. Would love to see Ireland in the World Cup. We'll see.
Maybe they take the
Um,
training equipment with them.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't unpack your suitcase too quickly if you do end up going. But yeah, so yeah, we're now in the midst of an international break, so we've got nothing to look forward to, like we've just discussed. When neither of us are looking forward to the England matches.
I
Then
think
it's
this
a
break
round
is
of
bad
F.
for us. I
Oh,
genuinely,
100%. And I think
you,
that's historical as well.
yeah, we've just got a run going. I know he's going to have all the players there. He can work on fitness, but now those players out injured, he can't get game time in unless he has a closed door friendly because he can because we've got so many players still behind. But you want that momentum to keep going, and you don't want 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off really from game time to game time. It'd be almost 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
yeah,
When do the other teams get like when do Portugal release their team and or are they all already out? So do we know people like
squad wise, yeah,
yeah.
they all would have known and gone off. It's all has to be released at the same time.
Oh yeah, of course,
Literally,
obviously
we
because
finish
it's
a game on a Sunday night. They would have jetted off Monday morning.
so teams, i.e. Portugal. I assume that Dallo.
Dallo,
Uh,
Bruno have gone. The South Americans, I believe, are playing in Europe friendlies this time around. I believe some of them were. That there's no Copa Americas, um, so that's more handy. I'm just trying to think going through the team. So Dorgu wasn't in the Denmark team, but Hoyland and Eriksson were.
Right.
I don't remember seeing Dorgu in there. But he might have still gone off with the under 21s.
Yeah.
That's because of his age. Some of our 21s have gone to England under 21s and under 18s, 19s. Who else have we got? Dutch squad didn't call up Xerxes, didn't call up De Ligt, I don't think. African teams might not be playing. So that's no time off for Morocco and Medjari and Onana.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think of the internationals we got because we've dropped so many. Even that level has dropped in our squad. Who is a current international?
Brazil. So who's that? That's
Casemiro is not called up.
not called up. Sorry, my phone has just decided to explode, and I've got glass all over me. African teams are playing, but it's the World Cup qualifiers. Is it Africa? CAF World Cup qualifier.
Not CAF. That's something totally different. You know, we both know what we meant.
Ouch.
You might want to put that
Sorry,
phone down, mate, before you lose your hand.
Yeah. It's all right. I've just stabbed myself. If you're queasy, look away. Look, there you go. I'm bleeding everywhere. It's fine.
Totally different meaning to touchscreen.
Yeah. Yeah, genuinely. As viewers, if you're watching this, I haven't just cut myself on purpose. It's not one of those. It's a case of my phone has a camera cover on the back, and it's literally just broken up. Can you see that? That's just destroyed itself.
Yeah.
So now I've just got glass everywhere. Yeah. No, apart from that, on the whole, the England squad, so we haven't got many players going on international duty, we've decided, or made out. So like we say, Ruben's got a bit of time on his hands to get a team together, get some friendlies amongst his own squad on the pitch at Carrington.
Get those minutes in like Mason Mount and people like that who haven't been playing. Luke Shaw's apparently back again. Like I don't know who's back more, him or take that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a big doubt. I just bloody hate international football. It just stops everything, doesn't it? It's like most fans would rather be seeing their team play rather than their players run the risk of getting injured playing against some butcher from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, with all due respect, if you're watching.
Yeah, other countries are available.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, it's like when you play San Marino, aren't you? I literally do mean a butcher might be turned up on the pitch against a professional footballer and absolutely kneecap him because he just can't move that quick. That's a fact. It's been seen happen. Luxembourg, teams like that. That's why I don't agree with international football because they all have the right to play, which I agree with.
Absolutely.
But they should play against teams of their level and the best of that level then qualify to play against.
Yeah, there should be a pre-World Cup qualifier.
Yeah. Because if you put us against Oceania, none of those teams are ever making it through. If you mixed them in with Europe and everyone just played everyone from around the world, you're still going to get all the top teams, aren't you?
And the problem is we're going to have even more of this. So obviously Uruguay, the Uruguay FA or whatever they're called, they want to make a 64 team World Cup, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So we're going to have teams of that stature that we've been talking about actually in the World Cup because just to make the numbers up. And that's no disrespect to people of those countries. We mean nothing by it. But when we come to international football, we want to see the best versus the best. That's the whole point. And you start getting World Cups with people, i.e. San Marino and
well, Scotland will qualify for more tournaments. That's the only upside to that.
Yeah, fair play to them. They
can start saying we qualify for the World Cup every year now. Well, yes, because there's 200 teams playing.
Yeah.
So,
but it's difficult because normally we end the show by looking ahead at whatever United game next. But I genuinely don't even know what we've got next. What? Isn't there an FA Cup round of fixtures after when we come back? So haven't we even got more time off?
Oh, it's literally what I was just about to say. Like our next fixtures when we come back, we've got Forest. I think it's our next game,
Which
1st of April,
is, oh, Jesus.
Tuesday night on the 1st of April. I believe it's
So 3 weeks off as of
yeah,
today.
yeah. And so we go. So we come back, and then we're thrown at it because it is Tuesday, Sunday, Thursday. Forest, City, and Leon.
Damn.
Yeah,
Would have preferred that round the other way. Would have preferred get Leon out of the way.
yeah, exactly. So after Leon, Newcastle, then Leon again, and then we've got Wolves, Bournemouth, Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea, Villa. So literally, I am happy to rest players against City. I am happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm happy to give people minutes against Forest, rest players against City. Although we'll probably beat them, that seems to be what
That's
we do.
just
We
to
get
see
up
what
for
we
that
do,
game,
yeah.
and be ready for the Leon. Rest players against Newcastle, and yeah, and then go again on Europa League. You know, it's the only option he's got.
Yeah.
Only
But
option he's got.
I suppose, so does it mean I'm not going to speak to you on here for the next 3 weeks because we've got nothing to talk about United for 3 weeks?
Mate, we could have a show every night. This is Manchester United. Someone's going to put out some bullshit story, but something needs to be spoken about. Ticket
Yeah.
prices. There you
Yeah.
go.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that tonight. Man United it's going across this.
So that's why I just seen it. That's
Man
why.
United have announced season ticket prices to go up. Very
Doesn't come
quickly.
that quickly. Jim Ratcliffe did an interview and said, we're probably going to have to put up the ticket prices. 1 week later, people's arms were up at going, oh, he's putting the prices up. He fucking told you he was putting the prices up. 5%.
Yeah.
You've got a season ticket. 5%. I get, depending how much you're paying for your ticket, is what it is. But if we take that £60 ticket, 5%, £3. That's all it's going up.
And I understand the anger. I really do, because in a world where it's hard enough, and trust me, I know it's hard enough to get by at the minute. When you've got a club as big as United, and it's not just United, I'm sure there'll be other clubs that are sort of quietly saying, "Yeah, we're going to have to put ticket prices up, but don't tell anyone." We're in a situation where we're in a cost of living crisis, as we have been for God knows how many years now, ever since COVID. And clubs are having to recoup the money that they lost during COVID because the ticket prices and ticket sales were obviously gone for 2 years or whatever it was. But when you've got a club of the size of Man United in the financial disarray, not exactly poor, not broke, but just money just pouring out of every orifice. And like Mark just said, you just had an interview with Jim Ratcliffe where he has literally said, we are likely to put ticket prices up by 5%. It's not going to go down very well, but it is short-term heartache for long-term gain, hopefully. But I get the anger, I really do. But it is just the way of the world.
I get their anger because let's break it down to the working class, right? I'm pretty sure that I could put this video out to 100 million people, and most people, the
I
average,
wish you would.
yeah, well, so do I, mate. There'd be more videos of much better content if we were hitting 100 million subscribers. Yeah. But the fact is, people will get 0.5% or 1% pay rise out of that 100 million. That would be the average. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're putting up 5 times the average, 5%. It sounds like we put up prices lots, but I'm going to let people into a few secrets they might have forgotten about.
Go for it.
If we just put up the season ticket prices, and you mentioned something, hidden costs, and now I'm going to explain your hidden costs.
Mm-hmm.
Your burger goes up by 50p. Your hot dog goes up by 50p. Your pint goes up by £1. Your shirt goes up by £5. You don't whinge about them, yeah? But I guarantee you that's more than 5% on what you paid the month before. Okay, so it happens everywhere in business, and one of the places the hidden costs are is your everyday stuff that you do. There was a big thing made about a certain supermarket and their meal deals. Yeah, and they were putting the prices up every 6 months and to go away from a £3 meal deal, pushing towards a £4 meal deal. And yet, if you break it down to what that is as a percentage, it is more than 5%. Okay, we all ask for a 5% pay rise. We all get 1%.
Yeah.
The fact is, if that ticket price goes up by 5% and you can't afford it, you're going to be heartbroken, aren't you? You're going to feel like I've got to sacrifice maybe my lunch every week to pay for the extra 5% or something like that. Your brain works in weird ways. You try and calculate it because it'll come out as a monthly payment.
Yeah.
I prefer the honesty from Jim Glazer in an interview going, we will probably have to do this. But the timing, the guy has either got Mickey Mouse watch or something. You can't say things like this and announce a new stadium. And bring me that stadium with there was a leak. I don't know if you saw it, but Amazon supposedly offered up 750 million for naming rights.
Right.
For like a 10-year deal and naming rights for New Trafford. It's brought to you by Amazon or something like that. So it's a third of the cost.
The Amazon Stadium.
Bring me that stadium with a sponsor showing that you're getting a mass input. Then I'm going to be a little bit softer on the touch of, oh, you're going to put ticket price up 5%? Yeah, okay, I can deal with 5%. It's how you put things across.
Yeah.
So it's like if you had your own business, you don't just go, sorry, mate, we've had a shit year, no pay rises. Oh, great. Well, I'll fuck off and find a different job. You've got to think about how you address things. And I feel that's where we're still failing miserably at the moment. You've got a guy who is a billionaire and 5% on what's our season ticket? Say the average season ticket was £1,000. Yeah. It's nothing, is it? And he's going to see that as absolute, it's not even pocket change.
Mm.
It's what he drops out of his wallet, you know? So I don't know how you feel about the ticket price increase. I really don't think 5% is that much. And I think it's pretty, I know someone, was it Musk or the 1958 a lot of teams have frozen their ticket prices. We had done that. We've come off from doing that. We froze our ticket prices. We've had that benefit for 10 years plus. You know, it's like when you freeze your gas and electric. You think you've had a great deal, and then you realise that how much the prices have gone up when your price freeze finishes, and you go, "How much have I got to pay this year? Fuck, where am I finding that money from?" Everyone does it, and we all have to come. It all comes full circle in the end. A bit like this show.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Bear with me. I am going to find exactly what the 1958 had to say because I think it is worth mentioning. Here we go. Right.
I remember seeing something this morning or something like that. It was a tweet or something that they put up. And I think they're trying to make themselves bigger than Musk. I feel like it's a power push at the moment between 58 and Musk. But because Musk was in on the ground deal. Oh, here we go.
So there you go. We have always campaigned.
How do you feel about that? That very first well, it's not paragraph, is it? Line. This is the first phase of reducing the amount of season ticket holders. Do we think we've got 100,000 seat stadium coming potentially? How many season ticket holders do you have out of 100,000? Say we take 15,000 out for away fans. So 85,000 seats. How much of that should be season ticket holders? Just out of interest.
For me personally, I'd stick it straight at whatever the stadium is at the moment. So we've got a 75-seat stadium at the moment. You put 75,000 seats in the season tickets in 100,000.
So explain to me how you bring in new people to a club.
Realistically, is at the moment the season ticket waiting list is still ridiculous.
190,000 people on season ticket waiting. Yeah. So because they someone put out that figure after you got 100,000 seat stadium, we could fill it twice over. right? So you've got that many people waiting. But how does football progress? It progresses by bringing in your young children to follow your club. But you can't get them a ticket,
Mm.
so they die. So tickets just keep going to rich people. When rich people come, they don't want to sing songs. They just want their famous Roy Keane. They want their prawn sandwiches. So, in my ideas, season tickets, whatever your allocation is, should be no more than 50%. The rest should be general sale.
Yeah. No, I'm with you with that. I do agree.
Of a decent thing as well, not general sale up in the rafters. Should be a
Oh yeah,
general sale stand, and that stand is filled by the public.
yeah. So obviously, as you can see, this is the first phase of reducing the amount of season ticket holders. This is what the 1958 have to say, and I do completely agree with what most of the 1958 do have to say. There are some things I don't quite agree with, but on the whole, they're good people and they're working their hardest at this. And the protest that they managed to put together the other week was incredible, and really well done to them for that. So this also paves the way for never being any new season tickets issued now. Why would they do this if they are increasing non-season ticket prices? It is a stay of execution to put them up to whatever they want. If we ever want to move to a new stadium, want a custodian of the club that puts fans first, cares about this once great institution. Instead, we have a club crumbling beneath our feet, and we are expected to foot the bill for 20 years of glazer decay and damage. You can't. I'm sorry, Mark, but you can't argue with that last comment. We have a club crumbling beneath our feet, and we are expected to foot the bill.
No,
You
you
can't
can't
argue with that.
argue it. My argument is we have an elected supporters trust. Why do we need to have multiple people coming forward? It just shows that we are a football club where the second part of our name does not exist in our fan base. We are not united. We don't need a 1958 if we've got Must. We don't need. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, but there's multiple out there. We're still not united as a fan base. This is the so they're putting this out. We've heard this from Musk, what, 2, 3 years ago, when it was first leaked that we were going to get her. So just repeating the same story. What's changed? Nothing, because the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And if it's not us, someone else will put their ticket prices up, and then they're making money. So, like you said earlier, you said about pain and gain. Yeah,
Hmm.
you put your prices up, you deal with all the bad publicity. But if you're then bringing in more money and the club starts doing well, you gain. And then all of a sudden, when the club's doing well, people don't give a shit about how much they need to pay. They only care when you're doing bad. But you can't ever get back to the good times if you don't bring in money. Vicious circle of life, whatever you want to call it. It's horrible. But the club has been destroyed by the Glazers. 100%. There's not one United fan out there who can think anything different. But we're being destroyed just as much by the players. Why they're not taking pay cuts? Why they're not doing this? They're you know they're taking their money that some idiot gave them in a too big a contract. If it was me, and I know my own morals, anyone can judge me on a video, and I don't care. But I would be saying, do you know what? I'm on 250. Give me 150. I don't need that money. They can keep their jobs, or that money can go into this trust to do this, or will that help
Yeah.
bring those prices down? As a captain, I'm going to my players and going, lads, let's all give up 10 grand of our wages. Well, I'm not doing that. What do you think 10 grand a week is to these guys?
No.
It's not even their tax, you know. And if it goes to a charity, if they're writing it off, it's a tax deductible. As an employee, if you give 10 grand to a charitable donation like the Players Fund, we blame the Glazers for a lot, and they have a lot to answer for. But these money grabbing players are just as bad. We
Yeah.
spoke about how parents and that have changed players, didn't we? On the one we done about
Yeah. With
future
Phil.
youth with Phil.
Yeah.
And this is what it's led to. Everyone just wants to take their money, come in, do their job, and leave. But if you are truly, your heart was in the club, in these lower league clubs, they do this week in, week out. Otherwise, they would just not play football when they're not getting paid. They're doing it for the fans, and I want to see more of that from our club. I want to see our players stepping in. You know, they can't progress against the Glazers, but they can help out in other ways. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's quite a passionate thing. I feel that we can blame the Glazers as much as we want, but we've got to realise that when we're playing these players this much money, we all go on about what they don't do it on the pitch. They can give up some of that money and help sustain the club.
no, completely agree. Uh, yeah,
We don't even give free
I
tickets
was
away
going to
to
bring.
local schools or anything anymore for
No,
midweek games or anything. We don't do anything that we used to do back in the 90s when we were the best team in the land. We were giving away free tickets galore. Now we do nothing. And that's not under Ilios. That's been going on as well. So that wasn't them that changed it. They've stuck to what's been changed. And as I try and tell my kids, people put prices up. They're never going to bring them back down. Once it's up there and someone's paid it, it stays there. It will become the normal, and then it will go up again and take the heat and stay there.
completely agree. And mate, I think that's a good point to end on. We will be back. We'll probably do a show next week and talk about whatever Ineos have done now that to upset everybody. And if anyone from the 1958 is watching, or if you know someone from the 1958, get in touch. We want you on the show. We'd love to have a debate or a chat with you. Yeah, if you know anyone, send them a voice note, send them a chat. We want to hear from you. Um, yeah, and again, reiterate if you want to join the channel, we are recruiting as always. Just get involved, get into our DMs, and come and find us, and we'll happily get you on so you can voice your opinions on United, or if you're a fan of another club, by all means. But yeah, we will see you again very soon. We're hoping to do a show tomorrow night. Uh, it won't be my good self for once. Jonathan is hopefully going to be on hand to do that tomorrow,
Yeah, I'm not
along
on
with.
either.
Yeah, we're taking the night off, mate. We've done our bit. It will be Jonathan, Andy, and Jay tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you all have a good evening, and we will see you soon.
Take care.